It's fine.
Yeah. Hello. Crystal just joined us, so let me see if I can get the Crystal cam on.
Well, we have to have Crystal on.
I have to have Crystal. That's the
There's
important part.
not even on the
There we
color.
go.
That's rough.
She just came in from outside. She's probably cooling down.
It is kind of hot outside. I was gonna play basketball after this, so yeah, it's gonna be hot. So
Hello,
how's it going for the second
everybody.
week in a row? Sheesh.
Yeah. They're
excited.
not going to know what to do with you.
Mm-mm.
Okay. I think I have the extension active again. Test message? Nope. I'm trying to get it where I can see y'all's chats because I have to look all the way over here into the YouTube world to see the chat, and that's just not as fun. All right, Jason, entertain them while I fix this.
I'm gonna leave that to Crystal. Actually,
Tell your life story.
Crystal's the. I could get Mario over here, but he'd probably start barking at Crystal. So getting chat going.
Oh, the fake message works now. Hi, Mary. Hi, Martha. Good to see you all again. Hi, Alice. Sing and dance. You're being requested to sing and dance, Jason.
Oh no, you definitely don't want that to happen. That would be awful. I think we would lose all of our subscribers at that point. You drop back down under 1,000.
No. I've seen you do the, was that Just Dance?
Oh yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, some of the Just Dance games are a lot of fun. So we get the kids to do it then.
Yes.
Maybe over the summer we'll have the kids doing Just Dance in the background, or as like as the coming soon screen, or like standby.
Yeah.
I could see that.
That would definitely be entertaining.
Entertaining than talking about minerals, right? Just kidding. So how are you doing today?
I am doing good. I am still being distracted by my chat window, but I'm trying not to because I can see. I'm trying just to make it to y'all where y'all can see. Y'all can see well enough, right? Okay, Alice says yes, that'd be fun to see. Yes.
I'm sure she would love that.
So hello, welcome to today's live stream. My name is Tracy Lenz. I'm a petroleum engineer and the owner of Pecan Tree. We're an engineering firm who does oil and gas appraisals. This is Jason Hooten on for the second week in a row for a guest appearance.
I know, right?
He is our CTO and our software architect. I'm just going to call you that because I put that underneath your name, so therefore it's official.
That's better than like software guy or like programmer. Like, this is my programmer. I think you introduced me. Yeah, this is the guy who creates the website for us. I think that's how you introduced me one time. I think funny.
This is the guy that does like the real programming stuff. I just do the random Python random stuff. That's pseudo coding.
You do actually all the hard stuff. Let's just say that. So
I do stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now that this is your second week in a row, Jason,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you are going to be forced to actually sing and dance for real this no okay.
Oh no.
Okay. I have the chat over here now. I can actually see.
Is the chat in the
Okay.
center? Okay, yeah, there it is. It's working.
Yeah, it's working. It's so small on my screen. I had to make it to where I could actually read it.
Gotcha.
So yeah. So happy Mother's Day to the mothers that
Mm-hmm.
are watching. I know that there's at least one and multiple ones, most likely. So yeah. Oh. Crystal has figured out that when she lays in the ant piles, she gets an itchy belly. So she's a little perpetual motion machine sometimes when she gets just the right spot on her stomach. She's like, don't make fun of me. I'm leaving. Oh. So
You're in.
we're here doing what we're actually here for is oil and gas Q&A, anything related to oil, minerals, royalties, investing, what's happening in the world, and yeah, I don't have all the answers. I don't think anybody does. However, if you have anything pressing, or if you received a letter in the mail and you're not sure what it means, or if you just inherited minerals and you're trying to figure out what the heck to do next, that's what we're here for. We also have a platform that is very consumer friendly, and we've developed it. That's what Jason's here for. He's on that side of it. There's also several other members of our company that are behind the scenes working away right now. So thank you, kudos to them for continuing to work while we're just goofing around on
Or
YouTube
just
here.
talking, having
Yeah,
fun. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah. Mm. Okay, so well, important things first. Crystal repositioned,
Mm-hmm.
so I got to reposition. Okay,
Oh, and your lights aren't on behind you. What happened to your
I
lights?
know I turned them off, and then I forget to turn things back on. So,
That's fair.
okay. So, Jason, do you want to start with the first question, or would you like me to start with the first question?
You can start with the first question. That works.
Okay. And that by that I meant for you.
Oh,
Question for
sure.
you.
Yeah. By all means. If we have no
Yeah.
questions in the chat yet, then yeah, you can ask me a
Yes.
question.
Yeah.
I'm all for answering questions.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, okay. Here's one. So you always talk about tech debt and
Uh-huh.
refactoring.
Hmm.
And so, for the non software people that are watching, what does that mean? And what does that mean for us? And why is it always something that's something that we're looking at?
Oh, okay. So it's kind of like, so tech debt is kind of like whenever you're building something. So like, let's say you're building a house, or you're building, let's just do something smaller, actually, like you're building a chair and you've never built the chair before and there's no instructions for the chair, just hypothetically, right? Well, you may like look to see how other people build chairs, or you may try and find, some designs and stuff, but you may also just try and like build the chair as fast as you can because maybe the client needs a chair like really quickly, right? So you built the chair really quickly, but then like later on you realize, oh, that chair wasn't built as well as I could have built it. Maybe there's like three legs instead of four legs or something to that fact, or like there's no
It's a
back to it.
stool.
And yeah, exactly. So it's not that you built it wrong. It still works. It's still a chair, right? It's just that you kind of built it in the way that like you really should probably put a fourth stool like leg on that chair, or like a back. So that's what like refactoring is in coding. That's when like you kind of take you you get the code out so the customers can start using it. But then as soon as you start seeing how the customers use it, and you start to see where it starts breaking or like the cracks in it, then you can kind of sure it up, fix some of the things that were broken before, or like do like a major overhaul just to allow for, you know, maybe that chair worked really well. So you want to start stamping out chairs. So you kind of like, instead of building other chairs, you build a whole like manufacturing line of chairs, and it can build chairs. Oh, you got the lights working. That's awesome.
Yes.
And so you can build a whole manufacturing line of chairs, and so you can stamp out chairs really quickly. But that only happens after you kind of like deploy live sometimes, and you can see how users are using your code or using the website or using or just getting feedback is one of the most necessary things in software development. So
Mm-hmm.
that's usually what we mean as far as like refactoring goes.
Which is probably why there's a lot of times where it'll seem like there's no progress happening, and then all of a sudden there's like a slew of new features, and then no progress, and then a slew of new features because it's release the chair with 3 legs, and then fix the chair to have 4 legs, and then release the chair with
Mm-hmm.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, like to that end, YouTube, way, way, way back in the day, I think YouTube was released in like 2006 or something like that, 2007. And I remember it being released and be like, oh wow, this is a really cool, like, video website. And then there was absolutely, it got bigger and bigger and bigger. But as it got bigger, there was no updates to the website. And then all of a sudden there was a ton of updates. But that's because they had built the website, like they had built YouTube like really quickly just to get videos up, just to prove that like, hey, we can get videos up and they can run, but they weren't quite ready to like for people to upload 800 hours a second or whatever it is, like whatever that
Whatever,
crazy number is.
it's
Yeah.
some crazy number. We're just
Yeah.
adding to the pollution right
Mhm.
now. Yeah.
And so they weren't ready for that. And so once they got that feedback, they're like, oh crap, people really, really like YouTube and it needs to run really quickly. You need to upload really quickly. And we have to have all these moderation tools and all sorts of crazy stuff that on the back end that you don't see. They had to refactor a lot of YouTube to be a lot quicker and be able to handle the crazy amount of videos that are being uploaded. So that's really like whenever you hear someone saying, oh, we need to refactor something, that just means taking something and kind of making it better. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, fixing it, I guess, for the first time. Do y'all do like any refactoring? Is there something like akin to that in the engineering space or not so much? Or is it most
Refactoring. Let's see.
or is it most like post-mortem type stuff, like after you've gotten
A lot
report?
of postmortems. Yeah, once you drill the well, it's hard to like refactor the well. Although there
True.
are a lot of workovers. Maybe that's the most similar thing where you start off
Mm,
with something just to get the well going, and then you go back and optimize. We call it optimization. Like, I
mhm.
think when you first said refactor to me, I was like, what do you mean by that
Ooh,
exactly?
they're
Are
not
you recoding something? That's just called work.
I'm just
Yeah.
gonna spend money and rebuild it again just for the fun of it, actually.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay, from now on then, whenever I build new features or whenever I fix things, I'm just gonna say I'm optimizing it.
Yeah,
So,
I mean that
yeah.
would probably make more sense to the engineers in our
I
company.
know, right? Yeah, so true.
Yeah, you're doing a look back, and with the look back,
Huh?
you had some efficiencies that we're going to gain on our next phase.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah,
think that that'd make a lot more sense. Yeah, for
yeah.
sure.
We'll
Mhm.
use the term grok and refactor, and you can use those terms. And, okay, Mary had a question.
Mhm.
So she said, Tracy, I'm wondering if natural gas is just used for heating and not to power our cars. Is automotive gas derived from oil? Guess I'm not completely clear on which product is used for what purposes. Great question. So my little thing to make it like pop up on the screen isn't working, but y'all can keep it in your heads for that. Or I
Mhm.
trust in y'all. So the natural gas that is produced is probably in Europe they name it better than we do, where we call it gas. Like when you go and pump gas in your car, they call it petrol, right? Petroleum, because it's not gas. It's not like the natural gas in the same way. But we use gas short for gasoline. The gas that is put into your car is more similar to the liquefied natural gases, so the LNGs and the natural gas liquids and processed like components of the gas. However, it's also taking components from the oil stream, so it's usually a blend of the two, and so you usually see uh, natural gas prices affect oil, like the oil you pump in your car, less than you do the oil prices. Because it's more of a component, like the components that make the gasoline expensive are usually coming from the heavier components from the oil rather than the lighter components from the gas. However, the blending, that's what's happening in the refineries. So it's a little bit of both. However, it's more oil. The natural gas is typically used more for heating, like you said. And then there's also a lot of products that are made from the very light components. A lot of plastics are made from those lighter components. So plastic pricing and anything related to that is usually tied to more the liquids that come off of like the lighter liquids rather than like just pure oil itself. But it is a component, like it's all hydrocarbons. The EIA has an interesting graphic that breaks down a barrel of oil and like where it's used. I'll see if I can find that for the next time. Let's see. I think there was another question I saw in here. Martha, did you have one? Okay, so yours is, Martha is, I keep wanting to think of some information to research with pecan tree, but I'm not sure what. We don't have a huge piece of mineral rights. Maybe Tracy can explain what we can glean. Yeah, so that's, a lot of times people don't know what they don't know. and that is a valid question. And so that, yeah, when you don't have a lot of minerals, like, or if you don't think you have a lot of minerals, or if they aren't producing a lot, then a lot of this can seem very much of like, well, what am I actually gaining from learning about this? I mean, other than the amazing company that y'all are in right now, right? You're gaining each other's company. Oh, my little pop-ups are working now. Yay. Sorry, that's a side note. So let's see. One thing that you could glean, and from our software, maybe it'd be easiest just to like poke around in the software and just, if you were in that situation where you just learned about your minerals, or you have like a little, like a $10 check every other month that comes in, what would you be looking for, and what would you be trying to find out, and how would you know that there's nothing else to know, right? Let's see. So I'm going to pull up our software. Jason, are you okay with that?
Yep.
Okay. I am going to switch to a non-client portfolio first. So give me 1 second.
Almost got it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay. Let me share the screen. Okay, gotta actually share the window now. One thing at a time. I'm getting there. How's y'all's Tuesdays going? Well, look, Jason's not going to answer.
Oh, I thought people in the chat were supposed to answer. We're supposed to get the likes and subscribes up and then answer in the chat. That's what we're supposed to be doing here. There you go. Hooray.
Hooray.
Look at that beautiful website.
Wow, I wonder who designed that.
Actually, it wasn't even me. It was my lovely wife who designed it. But yes, pretty close.
Yeah, so for the record, Jason's wife is our other developer. So, AKA my sister-in-law. Okay, Martha, you say, of course, there are 5 of us. If I subscribe, we would all benefit. There are 7 wells, 50% of 10 acres. Yeah, we do structure our software where it's you base it on the portfolio itself, and then whoever you need to bring in to manage or view or look at these things, you're allowed to share that with whoever you need. So we try to make that as dynamic as possible. But one thing, let's see. So we'll just start at the, let's say that this is your portfolio. And let's see, the first thing that I would be looking at is, do I have all the tracks in there? Do I have all the wells? 100 acres, got it. Yeah. Do I have all the wells? Do I have all the tracks? Am I seeing all the things that I should be seeing? And that's where you can go in and you can put your tracks in. And so if you have a deed and the deed says you owned this, this, and that, or a lease that said that you signed a lease with so-and-so for this amount, that's where you'd be putting these things in. And let's say that you put in 50 acres in Shelby County, Texas. And I know that y'all are in West Virginia, but I don't have this particular portfolio doesn't have one over there, but we can add one if we need to. So then, okay, make sure you have all your known tracks in a listing, whether it's our platform or somewhere. And then go to either, again, our platform or the public websites. There's every state has their own GIS website that you can go to see what wells are on that acreage. And so then it's a matter of like seeing what is there and what's around you and what's coming your way. And so for our platform, we have it where you can see all the wells. And so this would be where you're getting your statements and you're figuring out, okay, do my statements line up with how much it's estimating I should be making? Am I getting paid on all these wells that it looks like I should be getting paid on? Are there any wells that have a high confidence that I should look into? Are there any wells that I'm getting paid on that aren't in this list? Because that would indicate that maybe there's another tract that I'm not aware of. Because if say that, let's say that Exxon is paying you on the Smith number 1 well, and that's for this tract, this hypothetical tract. If they have any other wells that they owe you royalties on, that they're going to group you together in that one account and send you all the money for that account, regardless of which tract it's based on. So however you got it, it will be likely grouped together. Now, if it came from different sources, they might have different account names. And I know several of y'all that watch this have 7 to 10 different account names that you're having to track because of just how things have been broken up over the years. However, if they're sending you any other wells other than the ones you know about from this property, that would indicate that you have property elsewhere that you don't have fully characterized. So it's that reconciling of, do you have the right wells? Do you have the right tracks? Do I know everything that I own? And do I have it fully characterized correctly? And so that piece of it is what I wish every owner could go through that process, just to make sure that they're receiving everything they should be receiving, that they know about everything they should know about, and they at least have eyes and documentation on it, and they're able to get their hands around it.
Also, like we talked about last week, like if you don't have your hands around it, like if there's certain wells that maybe the operator has changed, they just don't pay you, right? It's like a best attempt at trying to reach out to you. And if they can't get a hold of you, or if like they just would rather eat the interest cost, then they'll just, put the money in a retainer, or not a retainer,
suspense.
Yeah, it's suspense. Yeah. So that's definitely not something you want to have happen, because it's really hard and expensive to have suspense. So it's good to like know which wells you should have interest on, and then reach out to the operators for. So, and we have like tools for all that too, where like we can kind of like build out an email for you to send to the operator, or a revenue statement where you can upload your revenue statement and kind of check what you should be making against what you are actually making on your revenue statement. So,
yeah. So, was that Martha? Yeah, Martha. Please clarify tracts. Yes, happy to. So a tract is I'm trying to get some like example legal descriptions up to show, but it's basically anything that maybe actually just showing it on the site is the easiest way to go about it. So if I was to say, let's just go to create a tract. That's probably the easiest way. Could Martha and I share a Pecan Tree account? Yeah, of course. So anyone that you're comfortable with sharing an account with, you're welcome to share an account with. The accounts themselves are free to have separate accounts. Portfolio is probably what your would need to share if you're wanting to save money. Steps to do this. I missed last week and watching recording didn't work when I tried. Oh, I'm sorry, the recording didn't work. I wonder what got in the way there. Yeah, so you can, having multiple accounts, totally fine. We have lots of family members who share, and especially a lot of times families have the same properties and they're right on top of each other, and it's just different percentages that they themselves own. So some families have a portfolio for the family, and then they just take that information and they divide it up externally. Some people, they don't talk to their sibling, and so they want their own account. I talk to mine. However, we don't have minerals, so. Okay, so on the create a tract, this is probably the easiest way to define what a tract is. So a tract would be anything that you could draw a box around. If you want to think about, like if you could put a fence around a description of something, that is a tract. However, you can also make a tract different depths within the same description. So let's say that you have different depths leased with different operators, or maybe they're staggered poolings that don't quite overlap. You could create tracts that overlap and just say that they're different depths. But yeah, basically anything that is a parcel of land. Some people call them parcels, some people call them properties, some people call them legal descriptions. And we have all the different ways that you can go about getting to that. You can get to the legal filter is one name for it. We're actually about to change the name to this to something a little more user-friendly. But that's where if you have a deed and it says from Atascosa County, I have something in this survey, in this abstract, then your tract would be this tract. If you were in a different state, we'll just go ahead and fly to West Virginia. And let's see if I can remember. Are y'all Tyler County? I'm going to guess. Y'all are either Tyler or Wetzel, right? And so in West Virginia, we do have less options for the land grid, just because there's the what do they call those like districts within the counties, and then it goes from that down to the individual IDs. And so that part, you would need to go to the central appraisal district for that county and find your area, or you could go to the address search if you know the street address that you're trying to get to. A lot of the East Coast areas do have street addresses because they're usually tied to some property that someone owns on the surface also still. While a lot of times other places out west and in the central U.S., it's been separated, or it was big ranches back in the day, and now it's broken up into all these little pieces.
Is that like the reason why it's usually separated, because of the ranches, or just because you end up with people with like these massive tracts of land that they're like, yeah, you own the land, but not the mineral rights? Is that why it's split? Or
a lot of areas, it seems to be based on when the oil was a big deal there. So the earlier in time the oil was discovered in that area, the more likely it is that the minerals have been severed from the surface owner, because just over time, the property, like the surface estates, get smaller and smaller because you get subdivisions and houses and development that happens in areas. While the earlier in time that oil is discovered in that area, the more likely it is that the original owner who had more land was like, whoa, this is valuable. I want to keep this for myself and only sell the surface, because I'm moving myself. I'm not moving my minerals. I don't need to sell them the minerals right now. So a lot of times that's what happens is they'll, the person who originally had the ranch in West Texas moved their retirement home in Florida, or passed away, or moved to Arizona or something, and they kept the mineral estate, but then that ranch was eventually broken up into hundreds of smaller ranches, or just a subdivision, or even just a couple family members still. So
I actually have a question for you on that, just a little bit. Like, you may not be able to answer this one, but we'll put this one to the test. So if like you owned the surface and the minerals, like on the East Coast, and then the city is like, we'd like to develop a road over the top of this intimate domain, does like does the city then take a portion of the like the surface, but you still retain the mineral rights, or how does that get split up, or does it not even matter?
it's usually just the surface.
Gotcha.
That was so. A couple weeks ago, we had an interesting question regarding stuff that was offshore in southern Louisiana, and it's actually marked right here. So it was off the coast of Louisiana here. And I did some more research after the fact, and every state is a little different, and it depends on if it was federal, if it was state. There's methods for acquiring land and leases and all these things, and each one is a little unique. However, for this particular property that he was asking about, back in the let's see, I think it was back in the early 1900s, the state of Louisiana took, they used that same idea to take the lands for establishing I think a levee system, like in this southern Louisiana area down here, but then they ended up not doing it. And then the oil and gas was discovered. And so the state had the lands, and the state got all the oil and gas royalties. And then all the owners were like, wait, you took our lands, didn't end up using it, and then you get to keep all the royalties? Wait a second. And then there was all these lawsuits, and those royalties were largely distributed back to the owners. However, now there's other things in place where if it's offshore, then it automatically reverts to the state lands. After, if it's underwater, then it's no longer private property. It goes to water rights rules. Like if you have a beachfront property and the beach is eroding, you slowly have less and less property. So it was interesting to dig into, and I'm glad I don't have to deal with that, because that was a lot of there's a lot of components, like national, state, federal, like everything going into that one piece here. But that's one example. A couple other examples of places where there's significant state lands that have been used would be if you're looking at areas where there's a highway going through. What I've seen, and this is not always the case, is that normally under the highway, and this is one of the highways going through the Midland area. Under the highway, the minerals belong to one entity, but the highway itself was carved out, for the state lands. And then, it gets very intricate as to where exactly the boundaries are, because things tend to get messy when you're carving off lands on the surface, and you're tying who owns the minerals to the surface, and it gets interesting. And I'm curious even to say, if anyone in the chat has experience with this, I'd love to hear y'all's take on this. So next week we're having a guy who has much more land experience than I do or Jason does on as our guest, and he is with Narrow, and it's probably not who y'all think it is if you do have a guess. But yeah, I'm excited to have him on. He would be great to answer this question.
Man, I don't even know who it is actually, come to think about
Gosh,
it. So
like, wait, does Jason know who it is?
I don't know who it is. You have not told me yet, so this will be exciting for me to find out too.
Yeah, yeah. So hopefully he's still able to join us next week, and if not, then I might try to rope in either Whitney or Jason again. So.
Oh yeah, West Virginia. So that's where we were.
Yeah. No, so the tax parcel. Yeah. So okay. Other things that I would glean from our map. Let's say that you checked that you're getting paid for everything you should get paid for. You have all the wells. You know what you're dealing with. That's when you start going in and seeing, okay, what's happening in the area? Is there drilling going on around me? Okay, like let's say that you owned one of these tracks in this area. Each one of these lines is a well. And so, okay, well, when did those wells start to be drilled? What type of oil and gas is being produced? A lot of the stuff that y'all are already doing, Martha and Mary, educating yourself on, what is the major component of this field? Is it gas or is it oil? Where is that gas or oil going? What major drivers are affecting the value of this? What things should I be looking for? When the price of gas, like natural gas, goes up for local reasons or storms, or if it goes down for local reasons, like there's a huge discovery nearby and just like tanks the market, then those are the things that you want to start getting familiar with. So that way, if someone approaches you and says, I would like to lease your property, you're not, surprised by why they're approaching you. You've, heard of the activity in the area. And then that's where, usually when there's a decision point that you need to make is where this type of platform is the most useful. Because if there's a decision on what should I do with my taxes this year, am I getting paid on, do I need to talk to anybody in terms of getting paid on more wells or different wells, or how do I know I'm getting paid the right amount? Or is it time to sell? Is it time to purchase more? What if I want to purchase, my sister's minerals? All of those decision points are the times when you'd want to dig into this type of information. Sometimes those decision points are monthly. You get paid monthly. You want to check if there's something you need to do each month. Sometimes it's every 10 years. So it really depends on your unique situation.
But right now, it's kind of like an important time to kind of know at least cash flow out, just because of like the strait being closed. It's affecting gas prices, but also oil prices, but it also is affecting gas prices, right? Or is that not affecting gas prices as much? Or how does that play into it?
Yeah, so we can, I do have the natural gas, I have the pricing update, which is one of my favorite updates to do. So I'm going to go ahead and switch to that real quick. Let's see. We still got Crystal. Oh, my Crystal cam must be off though.
We don't have space for her. Or you can replace me with her if you want to do that. That works
Never.
too.
Never. Okay. Okay, Mary, you say, I don't think we can do anything being NPRI and NEMI. So that's non-participating royalty interest and non-executive mineral interest. So that would mean that somebody else controls the leasing and they're just getting paid a component of the royalties.
And is that kind of like overriding interest, or is it like uniquely different? Like you still own the minerals, but like someone else owns the lease, or like how does that work?
It's similar. So overrides are tied to the lease itself, while what they have is tied to the mineral estate. So whether it's leased or not, they own it. Well, if you have an override, the override only exists while that lease exists.
Oh, okay,
So,
I see.
yeah.
Gotcha.
And so the
I did.
override is similar in that you're not the one determining what it's leased for,
Hmm.
and you're kind of given a set royalty that you're paid,
Hmm.
and but then you don't have to pay any costs.
Hmm.
Similar to how they don't really have much say in what they lease it for, but they don't have to pay any costs. So
Gotcha. Now that makes a lot of sense. Okay, so it's like almost like an override, but on the mineral like owner side, essentially, kind of like in
yeah,
a weird sort of way. I
yeah,
gotcha. It's just
and
not tied to an operator.
yeah, and a lot of times the like someone back in the day might have made the decision that okay, well, my son will be living here on the ranch while my daughter is living in New York. I
Hmm.
want them both to have royalty interest from this, but since he's living here, I want him to be able to negotiate the lease itself because the lease is what controls like how the well is operated, like with the surface owner too. Like how deep are they burying the pipelines? Where are they placing the pads? Like, do they have to lock the gate when they leave? Do they
Hmm.
need to fix the roads if they mess them up? Like all of those things are established in the lease. And so a lot of times the person who is the surface owner, if the surface owner is also the mineral owner, those leases are a lot more detailed in how they're operating for those reasons, and so you have a lot more ownership of those terms. And so sometimes what happens is whoever is living there retains the executive rights,
Hmm.
while and whoever moved away gets the non-executive rights. But the
Huh.
person who has the executive rights still has to. They have a responsibility to act in everyone's best interest still.
Hmm. Gotcha. Yeah, I always always wondered that actually. That makes sense.
Okay, so here is my favorite pricing graph view, and we do have this on our site.
Mhm.
Let me make this a little smaller. Let's You know, my little chat pop-up thing's working too well now. Now I can't I
Get rid
can't
of it.
there we go. Oh, it
Hey,
really likes yours, Mary.
it's a good graph. It's a good graph.
It's a cool graph, yes.
Mhm, yes,
All right. So
that's some graph.
some graph. So these are this is looking at oil and gas prices. Oil's green, gas is red almost all the time in anything that I do, and most of the time in the industry, if you're looking at a chart, gas is red, oil is green if they're on the same chart together. Um, what I have on here is May 1st versus May 11th. So only 11 days of change. And it's just kind of interesting. Just this little bit here is just the impact of back May 1st, there was a little more peace talks happening or thoughts of it going that direction. And then suddenly, again, like the news stories still are fluctuating daily. And the market is still being constrained, like reserved in reacting as much as possible. But we continue to see this wave shifted out further and further as we go longer and longer into this conflict. So this is the dashed line is the May 1st, and then the solid line is the projection of what oil and gas prices are looking like they're going to do. This is based on what they're being traded on in the future for like projections. So people who need oil and gas delivery into the future, this is what they're purchasing on. Again, this is this red spike here. That was the winter storm that went through. And since then, we haven't seen a whole lot of movement with gas prices, natural gas pricing. There was actually a shift downward for natural gas, but largely that was due to weather and natural gas volumes, like locally. The EIA came out with a report showing that we were actually like higher in terms of the amount of gas that we had locally than expected, and so that if you look here, now I have the April 1st projection for gas. And we're actually down a little bit since April 1st. You can see since April 1st on oil, that wave is just shifted out even more since then. And if I go all the way back to March 2nd, this was the beginning of conflict here where there's a little bit of increase. However, majority of it happened after March. So you can see like how things have just gotten shifted out, and like this wave is expected to come back down, but everyone's just not certain when.
When can mineral owners kind of expect to see that in their revenue statements, like that price reflected? Is that like a more of a summer thing, or is it pretty instant, or how?
So typically there's about a 2-month lag between people getting paid on pricing. So if this, let's see, we're mid-May, so mid-March pricing is what people are going to start feeling soon in their checks coming up. So that mid-March pricing is where we started seeing the increase in oil. So even if your wells are declining, you might still see an increase in your royalties checks coming up. However, if they're mostly gas, you probably won't see that. The gas stuff, y'all recently saw the January and February numbers come through. I remember y'all talking about how you did see those prices increase. So that part already came through with that wave. There might be a small increase due to natural gas liquids, but probably not significant enough to where you might like open your check and go, wow. So if you do have gas wells and you open your check and you say, wow, look to see if there's another well maybe that came on, or maybe there is a back payment that happened. Or if it's down the other direction, you shouldn't have seen much movement either way. And so any movement that you are seeing on the gas side is probably due to volumes. So either new wells in or new wells out. Maybe they were shut in, maybe they're impaired, maybe they're just naturally declining. But it's probably not due to pricing.
We've gotten a couple of people on the site like asking for cash flow reports. Like, is because the pricing is fluctuating so much and it's like especially risen so much? Is the cash flow report basically just to give you a projection of what you should make over the next couple of years, or like what exactly is the cash flow report in that case, or like what is that for?
That's a good question. So when we are looking at these wells, the wells decline over time also. So, and you have multiple wells producing, multiple wells declining or coming online, declining, impacting each other. And then you have that in combination with fluctuating oil and gas prices. That all in combination and in harmony is what makes up the cash flow. And so when you're able to project the volumes in the future, the taxes, the fees, the prices themselves, and then you can take that, and those are your undiscounted, so your kind of raw checks to expect in the future for the cash flow. Then you can plan for what, okay, are we looking at a steady stream over time? Am I looking at it quickly declining? And how quickly is it declining? Like, should I not be, looking at should I not be looking at that car that I want to buy, or is this good time to buy that retirement home? Like those type of questions. Or do I need to move things around for tax reasons? Maybe, actually we're hitting the threshold for this particular tax, thing based on the projections for the rest of the year. A lot of times that's why people need a cash flow from us. Or even just to project budgets, right? Like your personal budget on what should I expect from these wells. And I do highly caution using these cash flows as like the end all be all, as this is what the wells are going to make, because there's so many factors that could affect what happens in the future. Like the wells could break tomorrow. Like there's a lot of mechanical components to the wells that can be damaged or can fail, and maybe they'll be down for 6 months before they get fixed. Maybe they aren't fixed at all, or maybe a storm comes through and destroys the surface equipment and they have to shut the wells in for a little bit. Or maybe a pandemic comes and drops the bottom out of our commodity prices, right? Like there's a lot of things that can cause those future incomes to not be secure. However, it's better than just, not paying any attention to it because nobody knows. Like we do have an idea of what's coming into the future.
I don't know. You just brought up like taxes, and I just got done with my taxes not too long ago, and I still have bringing back for story like recollections of taxes. We should probably have waited on that a little bit.
Sorry.
Causing me to have nightmares. Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
I can only do so much.
Only so much.
Okay. Let's see. Man, we're missing Fred. I'm sure Fred will watch the replay. Hi, Fred. We're saying hi. I did see someone mention Fred, though. Oh, Mary, you mentioned where's Fred. See, he's going to see both of us asking where he is.
Hi from the future. Yep.
Hi from the future. No, from the past, right?
Oh, yeah.
We would be from the past for anyone watching this.
True.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to ask Jason another question.
Okay. And I have a question for you about a weird car company that's invested in oil. But first, yeah, you can ask me the question first.
A car company?
Yeah. Did you see that? I was like, okay, I was trying to be a good co-host and do some research into this weird oil industry that I know nothing about. And I saw that back in like January, Mitsubishi had like tried to buy a whole bunch of land in, I think it was Haynesville or where was it? Let's see. Yeah, Haynesville Shale and around Louisiana. Like, I think it's like 5.2 billion, and it's going through in May, I think. That's when it's going to be approved. They have it on their website, the Mitsubishi Car Company.
Okay, yeah, I do see Mitsubishi Corporation, Haynesville Gas expands the shale gas.
I thought that was really interesting because I watch a lot of finance like talk YouTube videos, and they were always talking about how the car companies, especially Japanese car companies, aren't going to be around in the next like 10 years or so. And I thought that was a really interesting shift, especially for Mitsubishi of all people. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, it looks like it's the LNG that they're targeting. Yeah, I mean anything that's in the Haynesville area is, and for the record, the Haynesville stuff, for anyone not familiar, is in the Louisiana, Texas border, all the stuff in that area. And so that's very close to all those Gulf Coast LNG terminals that are able to export all that gas that's right there at, in the Haynesville. And so there's several companies that have been making more targeted plays towards these, really just energy solutions, whether it's LNG or if it's data center energy. So I think Microsoft and Chevron have a West Texas deal that they put together.
Yeah, they're starting to build data centers out like in that Midland area, right? Or so.
Yeah, there's been several big stories related to that.
I thought it was really interesting that a car company was especially investing like 5.2 billion into minerals. I thought that was interesting. I was wondering if you knew of any other like odd companies making that type of investment, like that switch.
Yeah, and it looks like they're more interested in the midstream. So there's midstream is the pipeline and that component, and gas processing. I am curious if so a lot of companies have a lot of different components to them. I mean, like Chevron has, there's the major,
a lot of different verticals and stuff. Yeah,
a lot of verticals and whatnot. I'd be curious. I mean, probably calling Mitsubishi a car company is a little narrow of a definition of them, right? But it is interesting to see like these big non-US companies, right? I mean, it's
the other weird.
I wonder if there is a U.S. group of them. I don't know. Anyway, it was a $7.5 billion deal, by the way.
7.5. Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I guess it would have increased. Yeah, the original article on the Mitsubishi website was like 5.2. So I guess it has pumped up a little bit. Yeah, I thought it was also weird. Like the other company I can think of that has kind of made a shift was have you ever heard the shoes Allbirds before?
The what?
The shoe brand Allbirds. Allbirds.
Oh, Allbirds.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Allbirds.
yeah. Uh-huh.
They were like really popular 5 or so years ago. Well, they just made a hard business shift to now they're like, I think they're called like Bird AI. They're a bird.
Oh, really?
Yes. So yeah, Allbirds has shifted away from shoes and now they're a AI data center. And then I think their stock jumped like 300% in like 2 days after they made that announcement. And
like,
so
investors are like, oh, good, finally, no more shoes. AI.
Yeah,
yes.
more shoes. Yeah, the world needs more AI data centers. So yeah, they are doing a hard shift away from shoes to, and their stock jumped like 300. So I think that's what we should probably do. We're just gonna make we're just gonna do a hard shift to AI. Probably video game AI. That's probably it. We'll shut down the stream.
Definitely benefit the owners.
Or yeah, or the owner's children. Yeah, sure. All right, what was your question before we run out of time? I'm sorry.
Oh no. I'm shifting my question to an AI question. Okay, no, we'll end on this one. Without giving away trade secrets, or I don't know which trade secrets we could, but what's the coolest thing you're currently building on that you're most excited about that's not like out in the public in the open yet, but you're excited about like developing?
So I still think it's not completely done yet, and that's why I'm going to pick it. It's the audit tool, the audit revenue tool. So basically what we've been doing, and this kind of ties back into AI, is we've been using AI to parse your audit or your revenue statements. And we do two things with that. One, we can build out your entire portfolio with your revenue statement by taking a look at the wells and figuring out which land do you own based on the wells that you own, and then building out your track in your portfolio that way. And then the other one is using that revenue statement to figure out, all right, well, you own these wells in Pecan portfolio and you should have this much money. Are you actually getting as much money as you should? Throwing, alerts whenever like an operator changes, like all the stuff that is really important to manage, especially like over the summer with all the different operator changes and the permits too. I think I saw in my research, I saw that there was like 700 permits filed in Texas alone in April. So keeping up with all those, especially with as much building that's going on, is really important. I feel like that helps out mineral owners probably the most of anyone, because they don't have those resources to keep track of the permits, keep track of their revenue versus what they should be making and all sorts of stuff. So I think that's probably my favorite tool that we've been kind of working on in the background. It is kind of live right now, but we're still always we're refactoring. We're refactoring. We're optimizing it.
Yes.
So yeah, exactly. So that's probably my favorite. What's your favorite?
I do really like that feature because the revenue statements component is such a pain in the butt, honestly, for everybody involved. Like they make those revenue statements as difficult as possible to process, to read, to everything.
Yeah.
And just the trying to come up with a solution that lets you just upload a scanned copy of any source and try to reconcile that to a public listing of wells has been such a goal of ours. And then being able to take it like, okay, what are all the assumptions and things that we can pull off of that and present to you, and action items that we can give you from that in an automated way has been such a goal that I'm really excited about the progress we've made on that this year. But it is a very complex problem, especially since to solve.
All of the revenue statements, I didn't even realize this, but all the revenue statements are completely different and they all have different data and they're all like formatted differently. And some of the revenue statements like don't have like the correct, they're not actual real PDFs or something. So like all sorts of crazy stuff you kind of run into. So I sent you the link of Allbirds switching to like Bird AI or whatever, and they apparently raised $39 million in the weekend after they switched over, because Allbirds was like a failing company. They'd actually laid off all their staff and gotten rid of divested all of their like shoes, and then they'd made the hard switch to of like the CEO. He's like, yeah, now we're doing AI, and he raised 39 million. So
I wonder what makes you decide to like not just start a new company and
I
like
guess I
I don't know.
have no
It seems like
idea.
it's a different company at that point, right?
I guess at that point it was like already a publicly traded company, so they're like, all right, we've done all the SEC filing, and we're
Mm,
reporting our revenue, so we might as well just use it and not go through that process again. And everyone already knows the Allbirds name, right? So
yeah,
yeah, there you go.
yeah,
I thought that was a really weird article whenever I saw it. I was like, huh, it's wild,
yeah,
wild speculation stuff going on the AI side and the
yeah,
mineral side. So,
yeah. And
what's
then
your favorite? Oh, yeah, that's right. You did
oh,
answer
okay.
what's your favorite tool,
Well, yeah.
right?
Okay, so I'm excited about that. I'm also excited about I've always wanted to build like a dashboard of sorts that is um something that's like that $50 subscription level
Mm,
that
yeah,
we're
yeah,
talking about.
yeah.
That one, there's so many components that come into making it both an economic thing that we can do,
Yeah,
something that we can functionally do, something that we add value to people,
yeah,
um,
exactly.
but also something like we have so many of the components, and um, and so we have both that lower end that we're
Mhm,
going towards, like how can we replace like your Bloomberg homepage before oil and gas, like have everything you need there in order to manage the minerals, view the minerals, see what you're doing, all the way up to the people who are in this every single day doing buying and selling deals as for a living. Like how
mhm,
do we make a dashboard that services um, everybody? And to do that, there's just a lot of different levels, and we've been putting into place the pieces of that. And I feel like that's the thing I'm excited about, is getting it to where it's those holistic like channels that people can plug into
mhm.
and see all the things that you can do with modern technology.
I
So
think that's kind of like a big push for us this year even, is to get people to stop thinking of oil as like, or their mineral rights as kind of like something that's passive, and think of it more as like an investment, and
mm-hmm.
treat it like an investment, that they can, divest from, or like reinvest in, or like they want to keep track of, because you can do things with it, like a stock or something to that effect. Oh, I just saw the snake die. That's funny
Oh,
behind
the
you.
snake. Yeah, I
Yeah,
have the
it got
snake IO in the background.
it got caught. It was pretty funny.
Well,
It was
good.
going around in a circle, and it just stopped. So,
It's there just to entertain you, Jason.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I'm not paying attention to you or the conversations at all. I was just
That's
watching
fine.
Snake. But yeah.
Yeah, I think that you know for all the headwinds that we've had, probably the headwind of, oh, this is just too complicated for me to care about or to know about,
Mhm.
or this is just mailbox money nobody wants to know, or oh,
Yeah,
people only need to
exactly.
know that information when they're selling, and I'm not selling. All
Mhm,
of those components, it's like, well, no, I think there's a lot that you could be doing to educate yourself on this thing that you own in the meantime. I think that Martha, Mary, Fred, everybody who watches this live stream on a regular basis, like I love the questions that y'all have, because I don't think that y'all are looking to sell, but it's just educating yourselves on what do you own, and what does it mean, and what should you be looking at, and how do you know that you're not being taken advantage of? How do you know that
mhm,
you're not missing out on something? And then how do you do that in a way that doesn't eat away at your profits? Like how do you, because you could just hand that all to a mineral manager and say, hey, Mr. So and so, please make sure I don't get screwed over. But
mhm,
like then how do you know that you're not just paying them 40,000 a year just to tell you, oh, all good, and you didn't need to
mhm.
do that? So
Yeah.
that's where it's trying to find that happy medium, that happy balance. So
That's been a fun part of actually being in the industry, is I had my own preconceived notions about people in the industry, and then meeting, like, mineral, mineral managers or landmen who like break that norm or like break that like preconceived notion of like, oh, they're just in it to swindle and stuff like, because there's some genuinely good people in the industry, which I've been very surprised about. So I thought that was really, I thought it was just gonna be you, and I guess Whitney also, and Becca. But yeah.
Martha, you're waiting for lithium. Yep. I mean, lithium is a really good modern example of why a lot of people say never to sell minerals. So there's always something new on the horizon that is of value. So
did the Texas like Supreme Court rule on the lithium thing? I remember seeing that presentation. I think it was by Martha actually last year at Narrow about
this is a different Martha, but
oh, different Martha. Okay, sorry. Okay, well, it was by a Martha, and it was they were going to rule on whether like the water is considered a like the
it's still an
top under.
ongoing.
Oh, it's still ongoing.
It's still an
Okay, gotcha.
ongoing thing. Yeah, kind of depends on like it's the and whether or not. So if it was a waste product before and the operator had to pay to haul it away, if that operator suddenly can pay to haul it away and then send it somewhere where they can extract lithium from it,
Right.
like, is it still just the operators or is it the operators and the royalty owners? And that's kind of where I think there actually was progress in that case law, but I don't have it.
Pulled up, right? Yeah.
I don't have it in my head enough to report on it. But if you're someone watching that it's a very hot topic.
Yeah, I just remember like that was the big moment for me at least to realize like, oh, definitely look at your lease agreements because like, they could it could specify whether you own the lithium rights or the mineral rights or the water rights or the waste rights, all sorts of crazy stuff. And that could be a big difference. So
yeah. Okay, well it's 1:07.
We went over again.
Wrap it up. But thank you guys for joining us today. Thank you, Jason, for joining us also. Always fun to have other people on. Thank you, Crystal, for sleeping through most of our podcast.
Oh, I have an underfoot also who will say hi.
Hey, Mario.
Hey, Mario. All right. Bye, guys.
All right. I hope y'all have a wonderful week. Hey, Crystal, do you want to say hi? Nope.
Not at all.
We gotta head up for it. All right. Okay. Y'all have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next week again with hopefully another guest. All right.
Yep.
See y'all. Have a great time. Bye.
Yep.